The reserve was my world. Acres of forest, whispering grasslands, a symphony of life played out in every rustle and chirp. I knew the scent of pine needles baking under the sun, the feel of cool earth under my boots. It was a sanctuary, a place of peace. Dusk settled, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. The air grew heavy with the scent of night-blooming jasmine. Out in the distance, an owl hooted, its call echoing through the stillness. I took a deep breath, savoring the tranquility. This was my lifeblood. Then the silence shattered. A deafening roar ripped through the night. Birds scattered, their frantic cries lost in the cacophony. The ground trembled beneath my feet. I looked up, fear clutching at my throat. A blazing streak tore across the sky, leaving a fiery trail in its wake. The meteorite. It crashed down with an earth-shuddering boom, sending shockwaves that ripped through the forest. Trees swayed violently, their branches snapping like twigs. Animals, driven mad with terror, stampeded in all directions. I was knocked off my feet, the air forced from my lungs. Darkness swallowed me whole. When I awoke, the world felt different, alien. My senses were heightened, sharper than ever before. The forest floor felt strangely comforting beneath my hands. The scent of pine needles was overpowering, mingled with a metallic tang I couldn't place. As I pushed myself up, a jolt shot through me. It wasn't pain, not exactly, it was power. Something was different. I could feel it in every fiber of my being. The raw, untamed energy of the wild pulsed through my veins, and with it, a strange instinct, primal and urgent, rose within me. I was connected to the animals, to the very essence of the forest, in a way I'd never imagined possible. But this newfound power came with a terrifying realization. I wasn't alone. Footsteps, heavy, measured, echoing through the trees. They moved with a chilling precision that spoke of training, of purpose. I caught a glimpse of black uniforms, their faces hidden in the shadows. They were after me, I knew it, but why? Panic threatened to consume me, but the animal instinct, now a roaring torrent within me, urged me to move, to hide, to survive. I had to get away. I didn't know how, but I knew one thing. These men wouldn't hesitate to kill. Then it hit me. The power, the animals, I could use them. I had to become them. Section 5. Flight of the Falcon. Closing my eyes, I focused on the soaring silhouette I'd often seen circling above the forest canopy. The Falcon. Its grace and power were mesmerizing, a symbol of freedom and strength. I had always admired its effortless flight, the way it seemed to dance with the wind. A rush of energy surged through me. Feathers sprouted, bones shifted, and my vision blurred. The transformation was both exhilarating and terrifying, a reminder of the incredible power within me. My senses heightened. I could feel every gust of wind, every shift in the air. When I opened my eyes, I was staring down at the world from a dizzying height. The landscape below looked so different from up here, a vast expanse of green and brown, dotted with patches of color. It was a perspective few ever experienced, a view reserved for the birds and the brave. The wind ruffled my feathers as I soared. The sensation was unlike anything I had ever felt. It was as if I had become one with the sky, a part of the endless blue above. The freedom was intoxicating, a heady mix of adrenaline and serenity. The forest spread out beneath me like a patchwork quilt, each section a different shade of green, brown, and gold. I could see the rivers snaking through the trees, the clearings where the sunlight broke through the canopy. It was a living, breathing tapestry. I could see the men, tiny figures moving through the undergrowth. They were searching for something or someone. Their movements were frantic, their urgency palpable even from this height. They were fast, but I was faster. I swooped and dived, weaving through the trees with ease. The thrill of the chase was exhilarating, a test of my newfound abilities. I could feel the power in my wings, the strength in my body. Using the air currents to my advantage, I glided effortlessly, conserving my energy for the moments that mattered. The sky was my playground, and I was its master. Leading them on a wild chase through the sky, I felt invincible. But flight, even for a bird, couldn't last forever. The strain was beginning to show, my wings growing tired, my breaths coming faster. I needed a new plan, a new form. The falcon had served me well, but it was time to change. I focused my thoughts, preparing for the next transformation, ready to adapt and overcome whatever challenges lay ahead. Section 6. Strength of the Bear. Landing in a thicket of trees, the air was thick with the scent of pine and earth. The forest was alive with the sounds of rustling leaves and distant animal calls. I felt the familiar shift begin again, a tingling sensation that started at my core and spread outward. My senses heightened, and the world around me seemed to slow down. This time I focused on raw power, on brute strength. The bear. Its essence was primal, ancient, and untamed. I could feel its power coursing through my veins, a surge of energy that was both exhilarating and terrifying. Its essence flowed into me, fur sprouted, claws extended, and a deep growl rumbled in my chest. My muscles expanded, and I felt an overwhelming sense of invincibility. I crashed through the undergrowth, a force of nature unleashed. Trees and bushes parted before me as if they were mere twigs. The ground trembled beneath my massive paws. The men were taken aback by my sudden appearance. Their eyes widened in shock and disbelief as they stumbled backward, trying to comprehend the beast before them. They opened fire, but their bullets seemed to bounce harmlessly off my thick hide. The sensation was like raindrops against a stone, barely noticeable. I roared, a sound that shook the very ground beneath their feet, and charged. The roar was a declaration of dominance, a warning that I was not to be trifled with. They scattered, fear finally flickering in their eyes. Their bravado melted away, replaced by sheer terror as they realized the futility of their actions. But even a bear's strength had its limits. My energy was not infinite, and the strain of maintaining this form was beginning to take its toll. I couldn't fight them all off forever. I needed to disappear. With one last glance at the chaos I had wrought, I turned and melted back into the forest, my sanctuary and my refuge. Section 7. The River's Embrace. The sound of rushing water reached my ears. The river, my salvation. With a final surge of adrenaline, I plunged into the icy current. The transformation came easier now, smoother. Scales replaced fur, fins sprouted, and I became one with the water. The fish. Slipping silently through the water, I could see the frustrated faces of the men on the riverbank. They were losing me. The current carried me downstream, away from danger, the cool water washing away the scent of my pursuers. But the river, like all things, eventually met its end. I needed to be ready for whatever lay ahead. Section 8. Eyes of the Night. Emerging from the water, I shook myself dry, the transformation reversing. The forest was dark now, the moon hidden behind a thick blanket of clouds. But I could see, oh how I could see, the owl's gift. My eyes, large and luminous, pierced the darkness. Every rustle of leaves, every snapping twig was amplified. I could see the heat signatures of the men, their bodies glowing faintly in the darkness. They were still out there, relentless in their pursuit. But I could see them coming now, long before they even knew I was there. I was the hunter now. Section 9. The Forest's Labyrinth. The forest, once my sanctuary, had become a battleground, but it was also my shield, my weapon. I used every shadow, every twist and turn of the path to my advantage. The men, for all their training, were out of their element. They were lost in a maze of my making. I moved like a phantom, silent and deadly. The panther. Its sleek grace, its predatory instincts flowed through me. I stalked my pursuers, always one step ahead, my senses working overtime. The tables had turned. I was no longer the hunted, I was the hunter. Section 10. Each dawn a new chase. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. The pursuit never wavered. Each sunrise brought a renewed sense of dread, a chilling reminder that I was still a fugitive in my own home. But with each passing day, I grew stronger, more attuned to the wildness within me. The animals were my allies, my guides. They taught me the secrets of the forest, the language of survival. I learned to anticipate my pursuers' moves, to outwit them at every turn. I was no longer just surviving, I was thriving, but the question remained, how long could I keep running? Section 11. The Wild Unknown. In the heart of the forest, where the sunlight barely pierced through the dense canopy, a new chapter of my life began. The meteorite's gift was a double-edged sword. It had bestowed upon me powers beyond my wildest dreams, yet it came with a price. It had given me extraordinary abilities, but it had also made me a target. Every step I took was filled with caution, every shadow a potential threat. I was a mystery, an anomaly, and they wouldn't rest until they understood me, or eliminated me. The shadowy figures in the background were a constant reminder of the danger that lurked. As I stood at the edge of the forest, Looking out at the world beyond, I knew I couldn't hide forever. The vast expanse before me was both a promise and a challenge. Sooner or later, I would have to face my pursuers. The footprints leading into the dense forest were a testament to the journey I had embarked on, and when that day came, I would be ready. My hands tightened around my weapon, a symbol of my resolve and determination. For the wildness within me was no longer a gift. It was my destiny. The wild animals prowling in their natural habitat mirrored the untamed spirit within me. What new powers would be unlocked next? The stormy sky with lightning striking seemed to echo my inner turmoil and anticipation. The answer, like the wild itself, remained a mystery. The mysterious mist that enveloped the forest clearing was a metaphor for the unknown path ahead. But one thing was certain: the chase was far from over. The rugged wilderness was both my battleground and my sanctuary, a place where the wild unknown would continue to unfold.